It's fine, sweetie.
How you doing? Did she say this is my body?
Yeah,
That's
but
good.
she's
I
like
like,
literally spitting in her hand on my bed. So
why?
that's gross.
Oh, so she was trying to do
Well, go to the
unhygienic
bathroom.
things by shouting, "This is my body."
Yeah.
Huh. Kids are weird.
Yeah, they're really disgusting. So, anyway, how's your week?
It was
Yeah.
good.
Long,
It was.
you said?
Mm-hmm.
Was this the week that we came back from 3-day weekend? Yeah. So, yeah, they're always like super long, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not
Even
worth
though,
it.
like, I don't have a job. So, it's not like I was doing anything that made me be off, but
I don't know why, but we had like an audit this week.
oh, it worked.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so I had to answer the audit, and then of course the second you answer the audit, is why I hate audits. Then they come back and they're like, "Oh, answer it this way. Add this. This needs to correspond to this report." And I'm like, I don't fucking know if it will. Leave me alone.
That's my
That
favorite.
rem- that reminds me of like there's a like an audit that you have to do when you have workman's comp insurance, and for whatever reason, like there's all these like medical forms that you have to turn into the government, like a 941 or whatever, and your insurance will like have it so you can just pull that particular report and turn it into the government. But then for whatever reason, they don't have like this workman's comp report. So then you have to like pull, it's just like none of the data is readily available, even to like make it into, do you know what I mean? Like make it even into like a spreadsheet so that I could just pull it. It's really like, cause I was like, well, if I could just pull the raw data out of my system, then I could like compile their report the way they want it. But there's no way to do that. Anyway, let's talk about audits.
I want to like I
Frustrating.
always want to explain like data to people and like why data is so hard. It's like you have a system and that system has to go down to a certain level, right?
Yeah.
And that system handles one or two things, right? Like it handles payroll or it handles whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have like a procedure system, like different system, right? And that system is workers' comp insurance. And they're like, well, you should have this information about payroll and you should have this information, but they're in two different systems and they're at two different levels.
Yeah.
And they expect a certain amount of continuity, but there's not necessarily these two disparate systems don't necessarily have a good way to match up,
Yeah.
right? And then you have thousands of employees, so nobody can go and sit and go through all the
Well,
lines.
mine is like just 10 and it still was annoying because it's
Yeah.
for jovial. But I think that like the challenge is like in theory, stuff like the higher date should be on a report that I could just pull out of Square, but like it just isn't. I don't know. It's like I get it on the workman's comp ish side, but like, yeah, but like I'm like my system doesn't do that. So now I have to like sit here and do that. And it's just tedious anyway. So yeah, I think all audits. I mean, I think that that's the other thing when we did an audit for the company I worked for before, and the man that came in there was just like, "I need the canceled check for each one of these purchases." And you're like, I don't know. Like with the bank we had before, like every bank I've ever had, you could just look at the purchase, by date or whatever, and then you can get the canceled check. But for whatever reason, we were in like this mom and pop bank at that company, and you could not do that. You had to like go find which invoicing because they batched all the checks from like that period or whatever, and you'd have to go find it that way. It was really just like things that like I'm sure for no one else it was an issue, but for us it was like this huge deal.
And then when they get it, they just look at it and they go, cool. And you're like, thanks. It
Or
only took
ask you
me
like 50 million more questions. Like,
19 months to put together. Thank you.
yeah,
Have a
like,
great day.
Yeah, I wish I could just hand that to you and they're like, "All right, well, thank you. Bye." Yeah. So anyway, well, actually they made us pay back money on that one. But okay, so yeah, so it's a short week. It was long for some and long for others. And the VMAs are on and pissing people off.
I
So
can
you
see
want?
them in your glasses. That looks like the thong song. The thong, the thong, thong, thong.
The Burger King commercial.
Oh,
I mean, same thing.
Close enough, right?
Yeah. Have we seen Cynthia Erivo talking about the thong song?
I I love. There is nothing that I love more than like watching people talk about their special interests. And
Yeah.
like Cynthia's is vocals, obviously, but
Right.
she can talk about it in such a way. Like even when she was talking about, there's that like I can't remember his name, but he's like this really good interviewer. And he's like, so do you have to like hold your body differently when you can't? Your feet aren't on the ground and you're in the air. She's like, oh my god, yes. And she goes through this whole thing, and she's like, so you just have to put and da da da. And she can describe like where her voice is in her body and where she's pulling
Yeah.
from. And I'm like, that is fascinating. I love that. So to hear her, number one, talk about Beyonce, because I don't think that like people respect the vocals of Beyonce because she's raspier. And
You
number
think that's what
two,
it
to
is?
hear, yeah, I think so.
I think it's because when she first started out, I think her voice has progressively gotten better. And so like when you're like listening to like Bills, 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 she's not doing the vocals that she's doing on like Cowboy Carter. But
I think I agree with that. And there's like this interview that Prince did, and he's like, yeah, I told her to learn her scales, and if she could learn her scales, there was nothing else. And I think if you drew a line in her career from like when Prince said that, like that's when you start getting the concepts and
yeah.
away from like the pop star thing. So anyway, so it's like really interesting to hear her talk about other people's voices, but it was really interesting to hear her break down. She's like, that is a gospel song. And you're like, you know what? It
Yeah, you're
is.
right. She was like, and then we have the this. I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. But it's like, I mean, because even back then, when we think about like when we were listening to that song, we were like, I cannot believe he devoted like this much
This
energy
sim-
to song,
yeah.
the song, but it was also amazing because it
I
was
wonder if he
like,
still eats on that. Like I wonder how much money he made on the thong
I
song.
don't know, but I saw that they did an interview with him after that. And he was like, "Thank you, Cynthia, for recognizing the vocals."
And I
I was like,
also love like these things that become like cultural moments,
"Yeah,
because I also saw like an interview with Juvenile, and then
hmm
Cash Money taking over for the 99
not
and the
not in
2000s. He
2000."
said that that was they were recording the clean version, and so
Hmm
he couldn't cuss because in the dirty version he cusses right there, and he didn't have anything to say, so he was just standing there, and he was like, "Cash
What did
Money
they
taking
say in
over
the
for the."
dirty
I
version?
don't even know. Yeah, no, like it was Cash Money taking over for the 99 and the 2000. He said it was just open air, and he had to put something there, so he said that, and then everybody started saying that.
Funny. Cash
And I don't
Money.
think that anybody can say anything about a thong without going da dun da dun da dun.
Yeah, for real. Because it's. I mean, anyway, yeah, they're iconic. But yeah, anyway, it's really interesting. I mean, I think that probably like I wonder what social media has done for all of those little like snippets. Like if they'll have the same cultural, I guess, impact later on in people's lives. But it's like maybe it's just stupid. Or is
Or
it
is it
slow?
dumb? So I
Yeah.
want to talk about Sabrina Carpenter real quick, because I was having this conversation in somebody's comment section, because
Yeah.
everybody's like really upset with Sabrina because
About
of
what?
the. Have you seen the cover for Man's
Oh, I
Best
thought she
Friend?
changed it.
Well, yeah, she just did an alternate, so the original
Oh,
cover
okay.
is still available. So people are really upset with her about that, and my contention is that I think, and I love Sabrina Carpenter. I wore out her last album. I loved it so much. So she's snarky. Well, somebody said her whole album is just about her making bad choices in men and wishing that she didn't. So why are people saying that she's a feminist? And I was like, because she's snarky. And I think that some people, a certain demographic of women's entire idea of feminism has to do with romantic relationships.
Mhm.
And so when there is a woman who isn't being polite about how bad romantic relationships are, dating in modern history, in the modern era, that they think, oh, that's feminism. And so they ascribe all of their feminist ideas to her when she's just trying to make a joke about dicks. You know what I mean? So they're like, oh, she's a feminist. And she's like, no, I just like making dick jokes. And so
I
when
mean,
she
I
does
think
something
that
that's
like
like not
feminism is supposed to be, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like the purity culture, like, of like the leftist movement, still like even with feminism. Cause it's like, isn't feminism like about like being able to make your own dumb choices? Like, I feel like if, she wasn't, and she probably, I don't know, cause like, I'm sure she doesn't subscribe to the label, but like if she weren't, then she would just, like, stick with the first guy even if he were doing her dirty or, not being, like, everything she wanted or whatever. She would just, like, stick with him because that's kinda what you are taught to do. It's like, "Well,
right,
he's a good guy."
right.
Like, I was talking to a friend, and she was like I said, "He's a good man, Savannah." And she goes, "Then you marry him, mama." She's like, "No one ever finishes that part." Well, but that's true. It's like, "Okay, yeah, then you marry him." Um And so I think that, like, that's part of it. It's like she's also in her 20s, like, I feel like there's so much that we're, like, judging people in their 20s by, and they're in their 20s. Like, guys,
If I had to do my 20s out loud on the internet, like that shit's
yeah.
so embarrassing.
Like, the shit I did
So
in college,
embarrassing.
I was like, "Do you know how much money I gave stupid boys for, like" if Tinder swindler is a thing, like I mean, I guess, like, I gave my equivalent of the, like, the money that not that, like, enough to, like, knock out my retirement or, like, not have a place to live. But, like, there was, like, plenty of times where it was like, "I also don't have food, but you don't have food, so, like, let me
Let
buy
me
food
take care
for"
of you.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, so it was just, like, dumb stuff that you do because it's like, "Oh, well, this guy's gonna" play ball at least overseas, and maybe I'm gonna be the girl that he goes there with, and then you see him in the newspaper with his real girlfriend, and you're like, "Oh." And I'm sure if there was
Yes,
internet back
sweetie.
then, I would have been, uh, you know, I don't know, pick Misha or whatever, but, like, how do you learn until you go through it? You're like, "Oh, right, okay, now I can, like, kinda see it before it happened." But before then, like, if your parents were just like, "Yo, he doesn't need $20."
Right,
And if you don't give him $20, he's not gonna starve, he's just gonna call the next girl.
right.
And instead, you're like, "No, I'm so
You,
special."
you have
Like,
to
I
learn
can't
the lesson
imagine
step.
how he'd have time to have, like, 15 girlfriends. You're like,
You're
"Oh,
just
there's,
a
like,
hater,
lots of
dad.
hours in the day." Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of pick Mishas and feminism, did you see the woman, unpack her lunch? Did we talk about this last time?
Oh my God.
I don't think we
First
did.
of all, can we talk about the phenomenon of people posting shit and then when thinking they're gonna get one response and then when they get something else, they're like, why is everybody being hateful? I'm like, bitch, we saw your face when you pulled out the dog food. Did you see your face when you pulled out the dog food? You can lie to your mama. Don't lie to me. I saw it. And
Did
then
you
she had the
see
audacity to be like, my sister was there. Bitch, why was your husband at home during the day with your sister? And then they both decide to put dog food in a Ziploc bag and write, you're my dog on
Yeah, and
it.
then did you see her sister came on and was like, "Well, I'm living with them right now, and I was there, and we're not gonna get into why I'm living with them." And I'm like, "Probably because you also have bad taste in men." I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Again, like, not to, like, dog anybody, but it's like, a lot of us do. A lot of us have had bad taste and whatever and, like, gone into relationships that, like whatever.
But I
But,
also
like,
think that
you
she
getting
has
on the
like,
internet and just being like, "Oh, like, no, he didn't mean that. He's the best father. He's the best whatever." But, like, whatever. We don't know what your standards are when it comes to, like, being the best father, being the best husband, whatever. It's like, and again, that's on you. Like, pick your own thing. But like in our, like it's just not funny.
I was trying to think about that, and she's like, we just have like a dark sense of humor, and I'm like, me and my husband have a dark sense of humor, and he might go, he might make fun of like me doing something that's very spazzy, like not getting my tag forever, but he's not gonna pack me dog food and say because you're my dog, like, you know what I mean? Like she thinks that her standard of dark sense of humor is everybody's standard of dark sense of humor, and it isn't.
When I think everybody was like, it would have been funny if you had a real meal.
Right. If
Like
he would have gone
ultimately,
to McDonald's and been like, up here's some dog food, and then just kidding, here's McDonald's. Which would actually take less effort, I think.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, what's the equivalent of that for children?
If your kid
Drinking their juice box before.
I think if your kid lost their lunch for some reason and you took okay, if your daughter lost her lunch for some reason and called and asked if you could bring her something and you brought her half a bag of Eden Dot pretzels and dog food, that they would call CPS on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I think like thank God in California now, like most of the time they just get free lunch. So if you don't pack a kid's lunch, then like they at least eat whatever the school is providing or whatever. But in the meantime, yeah, like if you packed your kids just a bunch of junk, I feel like they would call the CPS on you if it was just all sugar.
They
If
wouldn't
you
even
were
let
like,
when I took your daughter McDonald's and I got her a Sprite, they wouldn't even let me give it to her.
yeah, yeah, because they're like,
No.
no, no sugar. Yeah, so it's really interesting how that stuck around, like, because I feel like that's a Michelle Obama era mandate or whatever. Remember when she took sugar out
How
of school?
ironic is it that they all crashed out and said, "This isn't a nanny state. You can't tell us what to eat. We should be able to eat unhealthy meals if we want to. Fuck you, Obama." And now they're like, "Well, nobody can get a vaccine because I don't think that they're healthy."
Yeah, because I was like, I guess that's the other thing too, is like when you're like, oh, okay, you don't want to give vaccines in Florida, like, great, you guys like make a little bubble and don't travel here. But then I was like, I don't think it stops there, right? It's like you want everybody to like not have a vaccine, but I'm sure all your kids will have vaccines.
Right. They literally made it harder to have your insurance cover vaccines. So that's not the same as letting me choose to go get the vaccine every year.
Yeah. And I just don't even understand. Like, I was like, I can't. So you read Project 2025. So what's the goal? Like, why?
The goal literally, like when people say like it's supposed to be Gilead, that's not a joke. Like the goal really is that they think that they are being replaced as white men in particular, and they think that in order to stop that white women need to be having white babies, and they think that all of the things that have happened in America, anything modern, is really stopping people from that. So they want strong white babies because they don't want to be displaced in their country. So, and the way that they see that going down is they want literally to take it back to the 1950s. So they want businesses not to have to deal with any kind of regulations that cost them money. They want people to work manufacturing jobs because that's what they were doing. They want, they don't like interracial marriage because then you don't get white babies, you get babies that are going to replace them. Basically, they really do understand white privilege and they understand that they enjoy a preferred place in society and they don't want to give it up. And so they're doing everything that they can to keep that place in society. And it even includes bullshit like um They also really want to monitor everything about people. So that's why they want all your health data. They want there is a law in the government. The federal government can't by itself um collect data from all these different systems about you so that they have one singular picture of you. They can collect certain data, but they have to keep it separate. So there can't be like one system to rule them all.
Yeah,
And they just threw that out the window.
right, of
They
course.
they they want to turn it into a surveillance state.
Yeah.
They have all of your data. They know when you're having your period and all that other stuff. And they just want to monitor you. And they want to monitor where your dollars go, what you're spending it on, and what you're talking about.
So then have you seen like the interview with like Peter Thiel? I can't even remember who he was talking to.
Yeah.
Is it like in line with Project 2025?
I hit what he I think that there are cross purposes happening there. So I think like the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 is very much about making America a white ethno state where white men are at the top and white women are right below them and then everybody else. But always whatever men of that group are above women. And I think that Peter Thiel hates humanity. And I think that he thinks that he can play them. He can play like the Heritage Foundation and they can go in and do all the dirty work. And then once they've sufficiently suppressed everybody and gotten them used to being observed and corrected and controlled, that then the tech bros will come in and he wants to have feudal states. His contention is that the United States is too big and that it needs to be broken up and that into small um regions
Districts?
and then that yes districts and
Like
then
the
there
Hunger
needs to
Games.
be a tech CEO at the top of those districts.
Yeah. So it's like District 7 is, you know, Facebook and data centers. And
Yeah,
District 5 is like tobacco and whatever the fuck people,
correct.
planting things.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. Fun.
not
Sounds like,
depressing at all.
yeah. I mean, it just sounds, like fun. I think that's a problem right now is like living in this dual consciousness of like knowing that you probably like can't like focus completely on that because you're like, oh well, yeah, the world's going to shit, but then like your rent is still due, so you have to like also still function and like figure out like what you're gonna do. Because like the other day, I don't even remember who I was listening to, and this lady, she was like, I have a remote position. She's a recruiter. She has a remote position for a data analyst. And when she posted it and then went to sleep, she woke up to 600 qualified people applying. And she was like, this is got to be some kind of like indicator. And it's like, I don't know. Like, you want to be mindful that that's true, that there's like, everybody's out here looking for jobs and it's just stressful. But at the same time, it's like if you just get into that mode, like, how do you get out? Like, what do you do? Do you just like sell your everything preemptively and move into your car? Or like,
It
it's just,
is it is do you remember like at the beginning of The Stand, the TV series, and that
oh,
woman took her kid out and shot him? Or
oh,
like at the beginning of Cormac McCarthy's The Road, the wife is going to shoot the kid, and the dad's like, "No, don't do that." And then so she kills herself. But then the dad and the son have to like wander the earth in the apocalypse.
hmm,
Sometimes it feels like we're in the beginning stages of that. You're like, do I just like what do I do?
what if I
Like,
just,
am I do
yeah,
I yeah, like am I supposed to just live through the apocalypse? Do I want to do that? But then what if the apocalypse doesn't happen? You know,
yeah,
what if the worst doesn't happen?
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think, yeah. So it's, I guess like you can kind
So
of
you're
like
supposed to like
see,
hold that and not go into psychosis.
yeah. And I feel like I can see when there's like friends that are like really deep in it and you're like, yo, bro, like step away from the TV. And then they're like, yeah, but this is happening and this is happening. You're like, I totally get it. and it'll probably still be happening tomorrow, but like you need you need a break.
I think that there's this thing that I've been holding on to, and I heard this on TikTok, and there's this guy, and he's a gay guy, and I think he's even in Oklahoma, and he was like, the dancing keeps you in the fight, and so he was talking about during the AIDS epidemic when everybody was turning
Mm.
against gay people, like they were isolating them and turning them and treating them like monsters while they're watching their friends die. He's like,
Mhm.
so in the day we would fight for each other, we would, feed each other, we'd take care of each other, we'd find our own solutions, you know what I mean? Like we would educate the community, we would fight during the day, and at night we would dance because the dancing is what kept you in the fight. So I am just like, you have to be really gentle with yourself. We're all doing the best that we can do. We're dancing at the end of the world, it feels like.
Mhm.
And it doesn't really feel like there's a place to go to escape because it's like the same racist shit's happening in Europe, and like where are you gonna go? And it feels impossible to cross country lines. And then like when you get there you still have to find a job, but then there's all these visa laws, so are you going to be able to find, like it's like very complicated. And so you have to find the things that bring you joy. You have to be optimistic about the future because the apocalypse could also turn out into like being really solar punk. Like when you watch Star Trek, we have the fucking Starfleet Academy, and the world is like it takes care of people, it takes care of each other. But when they go back in time, there's these very tumultuous things, and so like that apocalypse wound up with the fucking Starfleet Academy, or that apocalypse can wind up with something that's very solar punk, and we just go like full on into solar, like we don't know. So I do think we have to have the audacity of hope a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's Barack Obama. Bring it back, girl. Mikey was like, "Wasn't Trump like president before I was born? He's
Like,
the
yeah, girl,
president
sorry about
now."
that.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I know, girl." But
We're also wondering the same thing, baby.
we went and saw Hamilton last night because there's like, we have our movie passes, but there were like no kid movies to see, so it was like the only thing that's PG-13. So we went to see the Hamilton 10-year reunion in the theaters, and like she spent the whole time just like, squirming and moving around and whatever. And then afterwards, she was like, "That was good. I liked it." She's like, "I don't get how the main character dies. Like, I don't know how that works, but you know, it was good."
I
I was
love
like,
that Alexander Hamilton's the main character.
"Yeah, he's the, how does the main character die?" And I was
Uh-huh.
like,
The FMC, the MMC.
"Yeah, well, that's the way history works. It's historical fiction." And she was like, "Well, it's kind of sad, but
She's like,
I think he wanted to die." I was like,
but
"Okay."
she's actually, and I think like she's actually really good at following storylines.
Mhm.
And maybe that's why she has like really good comedic timing. But
Yeah.
like I like you can be watching something, and again it'll look like she's not watching it, that she's playing with her toys, and they'll she'll be like, hold up, hold up, hold up. Is that her husband? And you're like,
Yeah, you're like,
you're
"What?"
fine.
Yeah. She's like, I do not understand that."
She's like,
Y-
he is cheating on her. And I'm like, how do you know? How did you pick up on that pattern? Like,
Yeah.
yes, he is. But also, you don't even know what that.
Or like, oh, so like there's the part where he writes the Reynolds pamphlet and she's like, "Wait, why is everybody upset? Like, why is he never gonna be president?" I was like, "Oh, he had an affair." She's like, "What's an affair?" And I was like, "He had a relationship with someone who wasn't his wife." She was like, "So he can't be president?" I was like, "Well, back then,
Yeah.
yeah, but now,
Gung ho.
yeah, who knows? It depends on how it's received because
You know.
yeah, even Gavin Newsom I think had a little, or was he the side piece?
I don't know,
I
but
don't know.
like Kimberly Guilfoyle got her new face, and now she's with Don Jr. That's all I know.
Oh yeah. But I was like, I can't remember if he cheated or she. I don't know, whatever.
Did you
All I
also
know is
see
there's some
that
scandal over there. But no one's
uh
accusing him of sleeping his way to the top.
or his good looks getting him to the top?
Yeah.
Caroline Levitt got a new face. She got some fillers. She got some, because
Did
people were
she?
making fun of her. Yeah,
I don't know. I can't stand that lady.
I
So
know she's evil, but she looks like Kimberly Guilfoyle now. I think she
I
also,
feel like they all have the, what do they call it? The Mar-a-Lago
yeah.
makeover or whatever. But like, because they like their Mar-a-Lago makeover where they all look the same. And then there's like the Kardashian one where they all look the same over there too. It's
Did
really
you
interesting.
also know this? I found this out because like people have like these dark. This is actually like fatty tissue, and like the first thing that most celebs get is called a lower BLEPH, and they cut off the skin and take out the fat, and that's why they don't have bags under their eyes. It's not because they put
Oh.
caffeine in there.
Like, oh, it's not because they just start going to sleep and putting cucumbers on their eyes.
No, it's because they cut off their face, and then they say like when you cut
What
this
would
fat
happen?
out,
Like,
then it'll also like your whole socket will resettle and your eye shape will change.
yeah, like Glorilla. I mean, I don't know what Glorilla has done to her face, but like, whatever. But like, I did think that was funny. I don't know. I didn't listen to all of the jail calls. I just been like trying to watch snippets of like people talking about Young Thug and I guess him and Mariah the Scientist like talking about Glorilla, and
Oh,
he
I
said
haven't
that
seen
she.
that.
Okay, so I guess he said she wasn't attractive, and
I
then
know that
people
he
were
was
like,
talking shit, but I
yeah,
didn't. I don't want to hear any slander about Glorilla.
yeah, and then people were like, "Young Thug, you need to apologize right now because they found like old pictures of him, like before he had money too. Like, yeah, bro, you were not it." So yeah, but I was like, I think that men also feel like they have more of a like right to be like, I can be ugly, but you,
Yeah, fuck you,
yeah,
woman.
you neither either need to be born pretty or that's it.
Did you see number one? Cardi B won her lawsuit, and she's
Yeah.
like, "And let that be a lesson. If you try and sue me, I'm gonna take it there." And I was like, I respect it. But then number two, Megan, there was some fucking Twitch streamer,
Yeah,
and
Aiden
he
Ross.
was like talking shit about her and Tory Lanez again. I don't know why they can't let it go. And he was like, she lied and somebody's in jail, and so she should be in jail or whatever. So Rock Nation sent him a cease and desist. They served him an order, and he can't stream until they go to court. So she cut off his money, number one. And then number two, the way that she served him was she had a mariachi band go to his house and serenade him, and he went outside to go see what it was. And they were like,
You've been served. Yeah. But did I wondered if they saw the guy who hired the mariachi for his like his
oh,
ex
I
was
saw
cheating
that.
on
That
him
was funny.
and he
Yeah.
was moving out and he hired a mariachi to like come and serenade him as he was like moving all his shit out. So I was like, I wonder if they got the idea from that because it's like it's really brilliant. Like I just don't want the mariachi guys to get any
Did
heat.
you see the daughter of that mariachi man that was, and she was like,
And he
Dad,
was a
what was it
not
like?
he was a NASA, like, rocket scientist, like, he just
Yeah.
retired. I was like, "That's so amazing." But
He was
yeah.
like, it was really fun. And she did tell me that he was moving out because they broke up. And so I just tried to keep it really fun. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
that seems nice,
I
you
was like,
know?
"That's so cool." Yeah, but I think, like, back to Cardi B, though, I mean, I don't know, I think it's, like, a mixed bag of, like, yes, like, there are people who are, like, suing you for frivolous things or whatever, and then, like and then I think in this case, like, the security guard shouldn't have followed her, shouldn't have been like, there were just a bunch of things that, like, the security guard did wrong. But I think that, like, it's gonna be harder with you, like, throwing microphones off of stage, whatever she threw at a reporter
The
outside, like
pin, like right after she got out of
yeah, and why
court.
did she throw the pin?
Okay, so people have been saying that she's pregnant with whoever she's dating right now. And
Yeah.
you know how people love to play the game, I think she's pregnant, whatever. And so she purposely was walking slow, and she wore like stuff under her clothes to
Mhm.
act like she was bigger than she is. And so the reporter asked her, like, fresh off the verdict, asked her if she was pregnant. And she threw the pen and was like, "That is disrespectful. Don't you ever disrespect me,
But
blah,
like
blah, blah,
that's the
blah."
thing, right? Is like,
Right.
can you throw a pin or assault anyone based on like a question that they ask you when you're a public figure?
Cardi B is definitely going to get sued and lose
Yeah,
because
one
she
of these
cannot
times
control her
because
temper.
she definitely needs to control her temper. I think that that's the thing. Like I don't remember what I was watching. They were like, jail is full of people of that could not can get their anger under control. And you're like, it's even like, on Hamilton, he was like, oh, maybe Aaron Bear had some regrets at the end that he could not like let it go. But there's just all these like stories of people like at the end, like, what is it worth? Like, I don't
And I
know.
get
Like
it. I
right now
think,
you're making a shit ton of money and maybe
right.
you will forever, but like at some point you're going to need to probably retire and like live off of the money that you've made and you don't really want to be paying that out to people.
Somebody,
Like if
but
you're
I
throwing
also,
people stuff at like reporters, like are you throwing things at people that work for you? Creating a hostile work environment, like all those things are things. So anyway, go ahead though.
were we the ones talking about how, like, you don't get to complete the anger cycle and so it doesn't feel good? It doesn't feel
I
good to be
think
the one
so.
that to walk away. So I think that there's that. But I also think that there's, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel good to have to be the bigger person
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, but it's like at the end of the day, you still are the celebrity. So unfortunately, it just is what it is. Okay, so what are you reading this week?
So I finished Local Woman Missing for my book club.
Waffle Woman?
Local,
Oh,
Local,
local. Okay.
by Mary Kubrika. And it was another one of those books where the main character is a woman and the plot only moves forward because she's so fucking stupid. And
Mhm.
you're like, why was that the choice? Why did you make that choice? You have a college degree. And then just making more of those choices. Like, for instance, there's this thing that happens, and every time she goes to drop her son off at daycare, he cries. And we're in her interiority, and she's like, "Oh, that's so weird. Why does he act like that when I drop him off with other people, like the next door neighbor? He doesn't cry." And so she's like, "Hey, is anything going on?" And the lady that runs daycare is like, "Oh no, kids are just like that." She's like, "Okay," but it keeps happening, and so she keeps going, "Okay, is there something going on?" And then one night she's giving her kid a bath, and she sees a big bruise on his leg, and she's like, "It's fresh. It wasn't here this morning." So she calls, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And the lady's like, "Oh, kids just play around." And she's like, "Okay." And so she goes and asks the little boy, she's like, "Leo, did somebody hurt you at daycare?" And he goes, "Shh." And I'm like, and then she just takes it back to daycare. And I'm like, "Baby, why was that the
Yeah,
choice?"
like I don't think he needs to explicitly say yes,
Right.
and
I
here's
think when he
how.
said, "Shh, don't talk about it," and he's fucking 4, that was your
That's your sign. Yeah.
find somebody else. Find somebody else.
Yeah.
So anyway, I finished that. It's frustrating.
Yeah. And then watching anything?
Oh, okay. So I started watching Wild Cards on Prime, and it's
Okay.
adorable. Actually, it's really funny.
Okay. Clarence, are you still reading The Long Walk?
I finished it this week.
Okay.
Did,
What are you reading?
I haven't started reading anything else yet. I'm still
did it wind
really
up better than it was? Than it
spoiler
started?
alert, they all die.
Every single one.
Every single one. There's no winner to the long walk, baby.
Damn, that sucks.
Yep. So I saved you 17 hours. And then I'm in an ADHD spiral and I am hyper focused on aliens. So I've
Oh,
watched
because the
all,
aliens are coming to the world.
no, because of Alien Earth.
Oh,
So I've watched all of the Alien movies this week.
uh,
Okay.
did
Okay.
you hear about that? the asteroid that people think that aliens are behind and they're coming to the Earth?
I really wish that's true.
You want to get probed in the butt.
Is that where your mind immediately went?
What was that show, Third Body Person? I don't know. Yeah, anyway. I didn't finish that, but
No.
when
Oh,
the
the
alien
third body problem or whatever.
problem, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch that either.
But I felt
I
like
watched the first 3 episodes.
there was a lady on there. Anyway, whatever. I am. I finished the first book of the Charity Shop Detective Agency, and actually, it was pretty good. I mean, I wasn't expecting. I kind of thought like I understood who the killer was, and then it turned out right, but I didn't guess that until like the very end, like right before it was obvious or whatever. But I do also wonder about like, people who are like solving murders, like having no like thought that they could be talking to the murderer. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, guys, you should probably play it a little bit closer to the chest. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so I finished that. I started on the second one, which is called the Beach Hut Murders, and it's pretty good. So I'm liking this series so far. And then in terms of watching things, I've figured out that Family Law on the CW is back. And I like that little show. And I've been watching a show called Fisk on Netflix. They just came out with their third season. And so they were like, new season. So I was like, let me check it out. And I think it's funny. I mean, they're funny shows. Like, it's not my normal murder. So taking a little murder break.
That's good. Keep
On
it
the
light.
on the CW, Leighton Meester has a show. It's called Good Cop Bad Cop. It's low stakes, very cute,
Good cop, bad
totally
cop.
bingeable. Yeah,
Okay, I'll check it out. I feel
would
like
recommend.
we need a website where we could probably do like a wiki with like all our little recommendations.
We should.
Because I looked into a website, which is, and it's not that bad. It's like $20 a month for Squarespace or whatever. But anyway, so yeah. All right. Well, I think we can wrap it up.
All right, I love you.
Love you.
Okay. Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to the It's Fine, Sweetie podcast.